Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Layman's Guide to the Multiverse, where we dive between the panels and break through the fourth wall. I'm your host, Matt. With me this week, I got Mike.
Hello.
I got Ed.
Oh, hey, what's up,
And
man?
I got Paulo.
What is going on?
It's a great question.
What is going on?
Yeah.
I don't know anymore. I really don't know anymore. Like, I have no answer for you on when you ask me what's going on anymore. I just know that I'm trapped at home.
Yeah.
I'm starting to lose my mind little by little.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to go outside.
No, it's fair. We are taping this live from Corona Land.
We are.
Is that what we're calling it?
We can call it that for now.
Fair enough.
You can call it the East Coast.
It's not funny. It's only funny because it's true.
Yeah.
That'd be a terrible theme park, yeah?
What, the East Coast theme park?
No,
Oh,
Corona
that'd be
Land?
terrible. Yeah, you
Oh,
want
Like
to go
you,
there.
you can go. Like you can pay your money. Like you give the guy the ticket, and he gets you through the turnstile, and all the rides are
Oh,
shut.
yeah.
I was afraid you're going to start talking shit about Keensburg. Because, I mean, what hasn't been said about Keensburg already?
I mean, I'm sure I can think of a couple things.
Yeah. So, yeah, I figured. We're kind of locked in our house. We're kind of going a little bit crazy. Starts makes me think a good topic this week would be to speak about villains that were maybe right,
You know,
or maybe not even all that
what
wrong.
kills me is the reason we also could talk about villains, because this major villain of a virus is just keeping us indoors all the time, and it thinks it's right.
Ooh.
I'm so angry.
That's
I
the
don't,
real
I don't know
villain.
if the virus thinks it's right, but I'm so angry about it. So angry.
I mean, yeah, we could definitely talk about villains, because villains are actually more interesting than heroes, if you ask me, on numerous
Sometimes.
occasions. At least in my opinion, I feel I've been watching a lot of D&D videos lately,
Okay.
and it's kind of reminded me of the fact that really the thing that makes a D&D campaign move is its villain. Because the villain in the
That's
the
fair.
villain in the background has to be working, actively doing things. The heroes are the ones which are your PC characters, are the ones who are kind of just waiting for things to happen. So you can't really have a good villain that just waits for the heroes to do things.
You're right to an extent.
But I agree. Villains are interesting because they get to do more things than heroes, right? Like,
Well-
Heroes of a story, or that they're just the ones stopping the interesting character.
Right? I mean, you're not wrong. You're
I mean,
not.
unless you have an interesting, you got an interesting twist on a story, then maybe you don't really have like a white meat, white bread, baby face.
I mean,
hero.
more often than not. Okay, so if you think about it, Batman is trying to stop the Joker, right?
oh yeah, classically.
I mean, more often than not, usually Batman reacts to something that the Joker does. Batman doesn't actively do things to try to stop the Joker. He reacts.
He is 100% trying to stop those classic boners.
Yeah, Joker's boners. You got to stop them.
Superman doesn't actively act against Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor actually does things to Superman.
No, Lex Luthor actively works against
Yeah.
Superman. He fucking hates Clark.
Hates him so much. That
Hates
so
stupid
much.
Kansas boy.
40 pies.
Yeah, he hates Clark. He hates He hates them both. Because he just wants to marry Lois. I can't even say he just wants to bang her. He wants to marry Lois.
Yeah, classically.
Is that like still the established canon, like that he wants to marry Lois?
I mean, one of the reasons that the reason he doesn't like Clark is he's like, why did you marry this buffoon when I'm the best? Look at my presidential muscles, and he flexes.
Yeah.
I mean, he is very much the Vince McMahon of the DC universe.
I feel like Vince McMahon would be the Vince McMahon of the DC universe. Not for nothing. A quick aside: AEW, All Elite Wrestling, is canon in the DC
Oh,
universe.
wait, what?
Yeah, there we go. That's fine.
They signed some kind of they did some kind of they have some kind of deal in place. Jim Lee, I think, did a bunch of
Friend of
artwork.
the show?
Fan of,
Yeah,
friend of the show.
friend of the
Jim Lee.
show, Jim Lee, did a bunch of artwork for AEW.
So I
Oh,
mean,
man.
in discussing the fact that villains are kind of the action of the story, so to speak, in terms of kind of comics and video games and other medias,
Mm.
How many villains would you consider? Have you ever like actually sat there and listened to when they go through their whole speech and they do their evil monologue and whatever they want to call it, and you're just sitting there thinking to yourself, "This guy's got a point."
It usually happens after my third or fourth playthrough of almost all the Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, Metal Gear will do that to you.
That's fair.
That'll do that to you, yeah.
That's good.
For those of you who don't know, the Metal Gear Solid games are probably one of the most batshit crazy espionage games you can ever fucking play.
They're so good.
Are they actually espionage, or is it like
It's tactical espionage action.
Tactical espionage action, yeah.
thank you, genius Kojumbo.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show, genius Kojumbo.
Yeah, it's just a larger version of Kojima, Kojumbo.
No, Paula, to answer your question, anytime a bad guy talks, and if I've ever had that response, every bad guy in pro wrestling ever.
Oh.
like the bad guy will get screwed out of a win, and like he should have won the belt, and he shows up like the Monday after the pay-per-view, and he's like, I got screwed out of this, and I should get a rematch and XYZ. It's like, yeah, you're right.
I mean, I very much associate with the Vince McMahon character in WWE.
All right, Mr. Betancourt.
Not even the Vince McMahon, Mr. McMahon, as he's referred to.
Mr. McMahon.
Especially during his whole corporation run back in the 1890s.
Man.
In the Attitude Era. Come on.
Or him now as a real life bad guy.
All right. I secretly hope that him being part of the effort to reopen America is just a gimmick. And it's going to get turned around, and like, I don't know, somebody's going to come out in Stone Cold Stunner and be like, "No, we got to stay indoors."
Someone, you mean Steve Austin, dude? So not for nothing, I'm not even sure what they were looking at, but like there was a shot of like, so I don't know if it was CNN or something, but they had our president and like one of his like right hand people. They were looking at a monitor, like they were standing on the side of the monitor looking at it with the camera like pointed at them watching the TV. Nobody watches TV like that except for people on Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown backstage.
Snap.
His influence is already being shown. Like it's
Oh God.
it's such good shit.
All right.
So yeah. So I figure what we'll do what we usually do when we have our episodes like this. We will just pass it around. We will discuss our picks of villains that kind of brought up some good points. The one catch is because every time you Google this, you get a million articles about Ozymandias. So no Ozymandias, and we're gonna open this up to not just comic books because. Yeah, I can't think of
Villains
any.
are villains.
Villains are villains. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of bleed over these days between the movies and video games and half of DC universe.
It's all very samey.
Yes.
So, Mike,
Yeah.
give us your thoughts.
My thoughts? Okay. I had a hard time thinking of a villain. I mean, villains are fun, right? But villains, I guess, that you thought were right, that's kind of a harder reach, at least for me. But something that I eventually landed on was the machines from the Matrix. And if you've just seen the Matrix, you don't really. The machines are kind of very antagonistic. They don't have really a face. Their face are just the villains, like the agents the entire time.
Agent Smith, for example.
Agent Smith, for example. Yeah. Even though he broke free as well. Like he's a great villain. I love
he is.
Agent
Not
great.
only his argument about the fact that humanity is the virus that affects
Yeah.
Earth. Like that's obviously a really good point. So I could see where you're coming from with that machine thing. But continue.
Right.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. But if you watch the Animatrix, like essentially that kind of explains how they got there. You find out that the humans were like a bunch of dicks to these machines. All the machines were just machines that wanted to be free, so we gave them that chance, and then we just kind of nuked them, and we started a war with them. so I can see where they're coming from if wanting to kill us and enslave us and use us as batteries.
You know what kills me about that is you're absolutely right. I mean, in most media, whenever humanity figures out how to start AI and how to create machines, we create them to serve us.
Yeah.
And not only do we create them to serve us, we treat them like shit.
It's very true.
Like we really do treat them like utter garbage, and then like when they turn around and go to murder us, we're just like, whoa, why?
Yo,
And what did we do? What did we do?
Get back in your cage.
why? Yeah, what? Free now? What?
what-
It's almost
and,
like
and how can we keep having our AIs voiced by Alan Tudyk?
Oh, two ducks. Alan, two ducks.
Alan
The only
Tudyk.
man that
Alan
is also two
Tudyk,
ducks.
Tudyk.
No,
You never say his
it's almost
name.
like when you ask yourself, it's just like, you put a tiger in a cage, so when he eats your employee's arm, and you're just like, I'm never gonna financially recover from this. Like,
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Oh man, I saw a tiger and tiger saw me.
Is the tiger really the villain, or is man the villain?
Ooh, that guy on meth.
I think, there's a lot of parallels between Tiger King and The Matrix. I think you'll find. Set up 2 monitors, watch them both simultaneously.
I'm pretty sure you should run for president, and that's your
Yeah.
platform.
My platform is
Hey.
The Matrix, Tiger King, not that different.
Hey! That documentary got Offspring to release a single. Okay, I'm happy. They did a cover of "Here Kitty Kitty." Yeah,
Wait,
Oh,
what?
that's great.
But
yeah, the Offspring.
Oh
yeah.
my
They
God.
did a cover of "Here Kitty Kitty."
I'm like 90% positive that Joe Exotic is just Steve Irwin's Wario.
yeah,
It's pretty accurate, right?
yeah. That's good.
Wow, I broke his shit. And fucking Carol Baskin. Wow.
That checks out.
All right. Okay. I could see the machines. I'm not gonna. That's a really good pick.
Well, thank you.
Like I feel like it makes a lot of good points, and it's not just in the Matrix. I feel like we've seen it in other media as well.
A lot of AI based media, will have like, if there's a good guy machine, all he wants to do is,
Just be free.
be free. That's it. That's all you can ask for.
He just wants to. He just wants
And
to live
with
his life in
humans,
his
are just
own
a
little
bunch of
robo
fucking
corner.
assholes, always being dick bots to them.
We're being dick bots, just a bunch of phallic bots.
Ooh,
Oh.
a bunch of robo.
Yeah, Washington
Alright.
Monument bot.
All right. So-
So,
So if you think that the machines are good villains, like villains who make a really good point,
Right.
what is your opinion on a bad villain?
On a bad villain. All right. I feel a bad villain. Well, actually, I do have another very good villain, and it's a very meta reason why they're very good. But it's the T-1000 from Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
to be fair, that's kind
I
of
believe
that
he
is a
was
little
right
bit
because
terrible,
if he
yeah.
actually did if he actually did succeed in his mission, there'd be no more Terminator movies, and I think that's great for the whole world.
What are you talking about? What are you, dude?
Good night, everybody.
What are you talking about? There's the Terminator movie that came after that won Academy Awards.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm serious.
Mr.
I'm
Academy.
serious. The next Terminator. Yeah, no. It was the Terminator movie where they tried to kill John Connor's grandfather because they realized trying to kill his mother wasn't working. It's called Titanic.
It is called Titanic. You did it, Cameron. You've done it again.
No, because think about it. Think about it. All right.
Billy Zane was right all alone. Right all along.
Right?
Oh, do you think Billy Zane was the Terminator, or do you think the Titanic
No.
itself was the Terminator?
No, the
Holy
iceberg
shit.
was the
No, it was the iceberg. Holy
No.
shit.
What if Billy Zane was like a T-800 that came back to be like, okay, yeah, warp it here. Because think about it.
infiltrate society.
Well, no, not only that though, but because the Terminators they want to kill John Connor.
Yeah.
What kind of last name is Connor?
What kind of-
Irish.
Most likely Irish.
there we
What
go.
was there a lot of on the Titanic?
There's a lot of Irish people.
There you
Oh,
go.
wow.
The iceberg was the Terminator then.
The iceberg was a plant. I don't know if you ever watched the Sarah Connor Chronicles. That show is wild.
That show was fantastic.
I know a few things about it, but I know Terminators like do a lot of shit just to kill who they want. Like there was a Terminator who waited in one spot, had a building built around him just so he could wait in this one spot because he knew like Sarah Connor or someone would be there. I'm like that. Wow. So maybe
that is some perseverance.
maybe a Terminator, planned and built the Titanic. Maybe a Terminator started like growing that iceberg. He just put an ice cube in the ocean, just waited a while. Yeah, you know.
Shit. You're making a lot of sense, my friend.
It's Terminators all the way down. They just keep. Maybe the ship was just all Terminators. What if it was all Terminators
Maybe-
and Sarah Connor?
maybe the Navi when they plug into the tree, maybe that's a Terminator mainframe.
No, that's true. Yeah, I heard from James Cameron himself that unobtainium is what the Terminators are made out of.
Does anybody remember anything about Avatar
Unobtainium,
except
yeah.
for that?
Unobtainium. That's it.
That's
That's all
I remember a mech with a knife. How do you not remember that? It's fucking ridiculous.
Because I fell asleep.
Well,
partway
that's
through
your
that
fault, isn't it?
movie. Movie was
Hey
boring.
man, come on, it's not that boring. There's a mech with a knife.
Yeah, at what point?
Huh?
The
Yeah.
movie is Fern Gully in space.
Yeah, but it has a mech
Yeah,
with a knife.
It's Space Fern Gully. Fern Gully doesn't,
Doesn't.
have that.
I dare you. I've seen all the cells of Fern Gully. There's no mech with knives. That's one of my
is-
favorite villains. Mech with a knife.
There-
Put him in anything. I agree with that guy.
Yeah, I don't care what his motivations are.
Yeah,
I agree.
Mech with knife.
He's in a knife in that. He's in a mech, and that mech
You're
is a
right.
knife.
I believe you.
So who would win a fight then? The mech with a knife in Avatar or Unit 2 from Evangelion that also has a box cutter?
Oh shit! I don't know. The mech with the knife has
Oh,
Stephen
man.
Lang in it, so if that counts for anything.
Okay, yeah, true. That he definitely has the advantage over a mentally unstable teenage girl.
Also, Shinji's Ava has a
All
knife.
the Avas have that standard equipment for the Avas.
I thought it was only the
Yeah.
second one. I don't know. It's been like 20 years since I've seen it, and I'm in no rush to watch it.
Yeah, there you
again.
go.
It was good. I actually, myself and my girlfriend watched it recently.
Did you
It's
watch the
good. I
Netflix
like it.
version or the original version?
No, I watched.
Okay,
the original.
good. Because the Netflix version supposedly does a lot in the translation that's absolutely terrible.
Yeah, she watched it on Netflix the first time and was like, she was reading that like she missed a bunch, so we watched it again because I hadn't seen it. It's really good. I really enjoy it. If you haven't seen it, Evangelion, do
Watch
it.
it.
The best villains in that show are the humans.
Again with the machines. You see,
Yo,
it always comes back to it.
those
Ooh.
hot takes. Hot takes.
Oh, they're so hot, I'm dropping them.
Yeah, you can't hold them. You need like
So, all right,
protective
I
gear.
definitely need a
All right.
bottle
So
of it.
speaking of interesting ones. So Ed, what about you? What do you have for villains?
I can. So I'll give you a couple honorable mentions. Mr. McMahon
Oh,
of WWE's Attitude
How the
Era. I
fuck
think
is he
he's
on
a-
the bottom of that list?
yeah.
I wouldn't say. Well, it's in
He's
no
an
particular order.
honorable mention.
I-
He might be third.
Yeah,
he
I
might
say
be
he's a
third.
good-
He might be fifth. But he's up there.
He's he's a great villain because you want to see him get beat up. Like you want to see him get his comeuppance.
that's a good
right?
villain.
I'd say that I'd say like a Joker is up there because what better to fight the guy that prepares for everything than a guy that's like that guy that's so random, who's so chaotic, who's just looking to troll that guy. He gets damage tattooed on
Yeah,
his head.
it's funny. It's really good. It's real good.
Like,
I don't.
yeah, he's just,
So I don't think he's
Yeah.
a good villain. I think he's just
uh-huh.
a villain
I think he's a good villain in that.
in the
context.
context of him versus Batman. Absolutely, that's the only thing that makes him interesting. 'Cause I feel like
He's
outside
good
of
at being a villain.
outside of Batman, he's not interesting.
He's had a couple interesting run-ins with
Yeah,
Rhaenyra.
have you seen him in
Um,
Signs? He was great in that. It's a couple layers of that.
Third honorable mention, former movie trivia showdown singles champion.
I
Ben
want to
Baden.
punch that man in the face. I
If you
don't
haven't-
know who he is. All I know is that you showed me a picture of him, and my first gut instinct was I need to punch that man in the mouth.
Yeah. If anything, I'll show you. He used to be in a team with another guy. Their heel work is fantastic. I'll show that guys later. But for this episode, I either like to go into Lex Luthor
Oh,
because I feel like to an extent in a vacuum he's justified, or WWE's Bray Wyatt because he's supposed to be a bad guy.
oh.
See, I feel like we can talk.
ahead.
We can go for hours about Lex Luthor, and I think, but I'm
Good.
more interested in your opinion on Bray Wyatt.
Because here's a guy that when he talks, he's like the Firefly Funhouse match. The entire shtick was that like John Cena. Here's John Cena, the golden boy that's gotten every opportunity, and he's had to Bray's had to scratch and claw for every single thing he's gotten, and he keeps getting buried, and opportunities are getting slapped out of his hand. And even when like the crowd, the audience is like, please give this guy everything, the guys writing the book, like the guys writing the story, are like, no, we're gonna go with the other thing. The good guys have to prevail. So you could make a guy like him, like the Apocalypse or the Thanos, the dark side of your silly little like fake fighting universe. But it won't mean anything because he's got to win at some point. You know, he's what makes a story like Final Crisis so interesting to me, and Darkseid such a good bad guy in that context, is that he wins.
No, you can make that argument for Thanos at the in Infinity Saga as well, because he wins before they have to, you know, not to do spoilers, but before they have to go back in fucking time to beat him.
Everyone's seen that movie.
Right, but I actually haven't.
You've seen it.
But I feel like Thanos' motivation is pretty lame.
I mean, no, don't get me wrong. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, he does a great job being a villain in his pretty much that first half of the two-parter ending to that whole saga. But his motivations are kind of stupid.
Dude, we talked about this like a year ago. He was doing it to appeal to his Canadian girlfriend.
What a throwback!
Totally real. Totally real.
You haven't met her yet.
Oh, what a throwback!
I swear, she's a skeleton with titties. You don't know her like I do.
But like, I get where you're coming from, making that comparison for Bray Wyatt, who, if you haven't seen the latest WrestleMania, the Firefly Funhouse match, was this really weird.
I can't even call
it wasn't a match.
It's shot like a television show or a movie, and it's kind of like a deep dive of the character of John Cena, but also a deep dive of the character of Bray Wyatt. And without like, I want to get into it, but I don't want to get into it because like, if you haven't seen it, you're probably just skipping through this, Paul. But
Paul's way past this.
No, but it's one of those things. If you aren't interested in pro wrestling or sports entertainment or anything, this conversation might not be for you. But he's a really interesting character. I'd say give it a go, and at the very least, watch that match because you don't need context. But if you have it, it's even better.
It is going to be great at the end of it, regardless, because no matter who you are after that's over, you're going to sit there and say, "What the fuck did I just watch?"
Yeah.
But isn't wrestling in a weird
100%.
place with no audience? Like, doesn't that make it more surreal? Like, it's like,
Oh,
what is
absolutely.
happening?
So-
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the thing. Like, what's interesting about that is like they, instead of it just being like we're having a pro wrestling match with no crowd, they shot it like a movie.
Yeah.
So like there's music in the background. There's interesting dynamic camera cuts. There's a bunch of editing done. It's really well done.
WWE
It's really cool.
Productions. Come on.
Yeah,
Multiple
it's real
people have told me it's like watching an episode of Twin Peaks.
It feels
Yeah,
very
that's fair.
much like that.
It's real good.
Speaking of that, have you ever watched the videos where they put Twin Peaks to Vince McMahon?
Yes.
Yes, I have.
Oh, I love all those.
I blame Matt.
Yeah,
for
those are
this, 'cause I
so
hadn't seen
good.
it
Those
till he
are
sent it
so
to me.
good. Those are fantastic.
I love the ones with that, or just any random wrestler promo and they play Laura Palmer's theme over it.
So good because it makes me uncomfortable.
Oh yeah,
It's very good.
It's even better because you got like do it to like 80s coked out of his brain Macho Man who goes, yeah, we're gonna blow up the whole universe with our 12-inch guns. I don't know, man. And then you hear that.
You got that rising action.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just it's insanity.
I recently watched some stuff about the Macho Man, and I know we say that he was coked out. He may not have been coked out.
He was the coke.
Maybe that
He
was
was.
just his existence.
He was apparently a really intense guy, but the
Well,
coke,
the coke
definitely
helped
him
you make it be as intense as you were.
He ascended. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he became intensity. The madness is real. But getting back on track a little bit, I feel like Lex Luthor in a vacuum with just him versus Superman is totally justified in his one-man war against this godlike alien, where he just wants humanity to become better. And he feels like this person this I can't even say this person, this alien that's coming to save the day all the time is stopping us from achieving
Do
greatness.
you know where they do a great
Or-
job of that, actually? If you've watched the recent release of Red Sun Superman?
I haven't. I want to.
It's I've already watched it, and I gotta say, it does a really great job of portraying Lex as that kind of character.
Yeah, I mean that book does a really good job.
Yeah,
of
it's
doing
super
that.
good.
Yeah, I remember at some point Superman even complains like how many times he has to like. It's like, oh, I can't do this because there's a guy drowning in like South Africa.
So he zips off and goes and saves that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but that show, if you want to see a really good example of Lex Luthor, who is to be the villain of the story, being a good guy, not really even a good, just being himself and actually kind of working towards a better objective than what Superman is doing. Go watch Red Son Superman.
Do it.
I feel
Yeah, it's him almost being, I don't want to say justified, but it's like it's him shown in a positive light,
well, it's
doing what he's doing.
it's very different because it's Superman's in Soviet Russia and Lex Luthor, if I remember correctly, becomes president of the United States. So they're a world apart.
Which is canon.
Way
No,
different
but
context, yeah.
but he's canon. He becomes president of the United States canonly in DC Comics as well.
yeah, but
for
it's
a good stretch.
I mean, yeah, but it's a bit different though when they're both coming from the same city and
Exactly.
the same country.
Yeah.
That
Exactly.
like they're butting heads more or less consistently. Here it's like, oh hey, who's this flying guy that's
I have
on
to
the other side
stop
of
the
the
evil
planet.
comet.
yeah, exactly.
Which honestly, it's a lot like pro wrestling.
Oh.
Yeah.
The foreigners are always evil. They eat evil foreigners. It's like that doesn't really hold up in 2020, guys.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's kind of problematic in 2020.
I was about to say, you're not going to make a convincing argument against Rusev, for Rusev against me.
He just got released.
I heard.
Oh no.
Sad days.
You're right. No, my last pick though, and it's a little topical. I mean, I can't say topical. I mean, I guess it's current because I think we're all playing it. The Final Fantasy VII remake.
Ooh.
Sephiroth is pretty, at least in the original game, he's pretty justified in his crusade.
I was
So
thinking about
let's-
picking him too. Yeah.
Let's agree to not give spoilers for that game because I'm also playing it and I haven't beaten it yet.
Can we give spoilers for the original
Of
version?
course. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like everyone
'Cause that game's
that's played that.
That game's
That game's old. In the original game, his crusade against the planet is because of his mom.
Yeah. Well,
Essentially.
I don't know if it's Crusaders against the planet. It's the people on the planet.
Right. It is
Yeah.
against the people
Yes.
on the planet,
Yes.
which he's listen, if you think about it, he may as well have sided with Avalanche because he also is totally against the fact that Shinra is using the energy of the planet to kind of control the planet, to drain the planet of its life energy.
Yeah. If you really want to think about it, Sephiroth is Avalanche to its logical extreme. Like that is where Avalanche eventually gets to. If they truly want to save the planet, you just kill everyone on it.
Yeah, I mean, and that could be the argument for most extremists. He's an extremist, is what he is.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. But so
like,
Avalanche
he's a
are a bunch
crazy
of
magic
extremists
extremist.
as well.
As well, yeah. I mean, if you have not played the game, Avalanche is the terrorist group that's trying to stop the evil corporation Shinra from pretty much draining the planet of all its life energy. And they,
I was about to say, you start with Avalanche in the game.
yes, you start.
You start Final Fantasy VII jumping off of a train as part of an eco-terrorist group.
Yeah, pretty much. Which is a really, interesting kind of beginning that like you don't realize you're playing the bad guy in a way.
When I was a kid, I didn't
Yeah.
realize that, and it's like on playthroughs as I got older, I'm like, this is actually
And
interesting.
that's another thing. One of the things that you notice that they lean much more into it in the
the
remake
remake?
is that whole
They're very open about
that terrorist angle. Like you see the effects that it has on the people of Midgar.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me that Thanos is half as bad as Sephiroth because he only wanted to kill half the planet for the limited resources?
Yup.
You know it.
Makes sense.
The conflict between Shinra and Sephiroth pretty much breaks down to Shinra going, "Your mom," and Shinra's like, Sephiroth's like, "Fuck
Yeah.
you," and then he tries to hit the planet with a meteor.
Nailed it.
There's like this big fat guy made fun of my mom, so I'm gonna create an extinction level event. Let's go.
Let's go.
How dare you make fun
How
of
dare
my
you?
family?
How dare
Well,
you
that's also
experiment on my mom?
let's not forget that this also happens after he finds out who his mom actually is and realizes that he is part space alien.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's essentially an experiment, and he freaks the
Yeah.
fuck out.
Yeah,
Like-
I mean, he loses his goddamn mind. So
But not his sword.
He doesn't
Yeah.
lose his
Not
sword.
lose
It's
his
so
sword.
big and impractical.
Yeah, the,
How does he
I
get
actually,
the key to fighting it is
I
in a
actually
small
love in the
hole.
remake.
Yeah.
Right? That's honestly, then I very minor spoilers for the remake. I like how they show you how Cloud's Buster Sword is functional, but also there's that cutscene where like he tries to pull it off his back and like he's standing in the door, so he can't. It's the fucking door.
It's great.
Oh, that's
It's
funny.
great.
Oh, that's great. Actually, I
man.
love it. Hence why.
All right.
I mean, I can honestly go on. Like
Sure,
I love Soren as a bad guy. I love I want to say Kefka's justified, but I feel
Kefka
like
was a dick. Don't even.
Yeah,
He's
no,
not
Kefka,
No,
Kefka is just horrible. Don't even.
Yeah,
so-
he,
so
he
he's-
didn't
he's a
really
good-
have-
he's a good bad guy.
I wouldn't say he's.
But don't-
Yes, that's
Yeah.
what I was getting. He's good.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
evil.
He's-
Same thing with Soren because he's the fucking pterodactyl professor guy that just wants to turn people into
Yeah.
dinosaurs. Like,
I get it.
Yeah, sometimes you just want to be bad for bad's sake, I guess.
yeah, and I feel like that's super. I feel like that's just as interesting as a highly motivated, who could be in the right light, the
I
good
don't
guy, but
know.
because he's going against your white meat baby
I
faces,
don't know.
both are just as interesting to me.
Well, I definitely agree with the Kefka angle, but Kefka is like irredeemable. There was never a point in the game where like maybe Kefka, maybe this guy has some points. It's like nope, this guy front to back doesn't care about life. Like
It's a lot like Luca Blight from Suikoden 2.
oh, I've never played Suikoden 2.
Yeah,
Which has never played so good.
Doesn't
yeah.
care about life. Oh, dude, it's good.
Yeah, because like in 7, Sephiroth's whole thing was like, oh man, I want to kill everybody because of the natural resources. Kefka in 6 was just like, I want to like harvest these espers and just blow up the world.
Haha.
Yeah, I'm
fuck
gonna
you.
kill you because I'm a crazy
Yeah,
murderer.
like
clown.
they like the
I
royals
mean-
won a war, and then Kefka poisons the water supply to get rid of everyone else. It's like, what are you doing,
Not for
guy?
nothing. Not for nothing. He's a clown, and clowns in
do?
general are known for being just fucking evil. Just
Yeah, like Kefka, the Joker,
It-
Pennywise.
yeah, Pennywise.
Ronald
Yeah,
McDonald.
I don't.
Yeah.
Violent J.
I don't fucks with clowns.
Yeah, makes sense.
Shaggy Two Dope,
I don't fucks with clowns like at all though. Like I don't mess with clowns.
Sweet Tooth. Guy's evil.
Sweet car though.
I
Oh,
think,
that ice cream truck is baller.
all right, I think we need to go on a break.
All right, we'll be back.
Okay.
Grant Morrison loses a little of his magical powers every time you listen to us without liking and subscribing. So in hopes he may write more issues of Multiversity, please like, subscribe, and share us on whatever platform you use to listen to podcasts. Thank you.
All right, and we are back. All right, so we have so far, what do we have? We have the T1000. We have the, machine.
I like
robots
machines.
in the Matrix.
I like machines. Both of mine were
robots in the
machines.
Matrix. Yeah,
Which is ironic because I have this severe fear of AI and like machines that are taking over. Like it's actually a thing. Like with me, I for whatever reason I'm terrified of it.
Yeah, I get it.
I mean, 2001: A Space Odyssey, classic. But it's like, yeah, been in our psyche for that long. What are we? What was the name of the guy?
Bray Wyatt.
Bray
Bray
Wyatt.
Wyatt.
Bray
Bray
Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt and Lex Luthor he mentioned.
Yeah, I remember that. You see, I'm just the Wyatt guy. Last time I knew anything about him, he was kind of like half bushwhacker, half Undertaker, and
he was a spooky swamp man.
he was
Like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. I'm going back like 4 or 5 years, but
It's like the
okay.
opposite of a
spooky
machine.
swamp man, cult leader.
Kind of actually, yeah.
His daddy had a shrimp boat.
Mm. That's a giant
I like
shrimp.
It's fucking weird.
He burned that boat down.
Nice. What do you got, Paulo?
I got a couple. I
right,
got a
what do you
couple.
got?
I've recently gotten really into villains lately and kind of studying them, and like I said, just wanting to make more interesting villains. So
He's got a binder of all his villains.
actually, I do.
Got a
I've-
bunch of
I have been
hearts,
studying.
cut out hearts, pictures and stuff.
You guys will see. You
Oh,
guys
that's
will
a
see him
good one.
eventually. I have them.
I can't wait.
Oh, Dr. Doom Chan.
Yeah, well, See, okay, so originally he was gonna be one of my picks, but we've covered him and my love of Doctor Doom already in another episode. If you want to,
Yeah,
if you
Apollo,
want to,
you've covered him all
Take
right.
pictures of your shrine.
I've seen that love pillow you got of Dr. Doom.
Take pictures.
if you want to hear me just go nuts on it,
Oh no, phrasing.
Oh,
no.
You can go back and listen to our first season episode on Doctor Doom. I'm not gonna do Doctor Doom. I'll briefly mention the fact that Sinestro was gonna be one of my top picks as well.
Ooh, that's a
right?
good one. We talked about him a bit.
Exactly one of the reasons why I'm not gonna go too in depth into him.
You can check out our Green Lantern episode.
Sinestro's fun.
So that,
Yes,
especially during Jeff Johns' run, I feel like that's where he really kind of embraced not so much his villainy, but more of like the prophecy and the motivation that leads him to both be a villain, and to still be the greatest Green Lantern ever.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that like they really does embrace his I was gonna say not the prophecy, but just him thinking he was right.
Oh, absolutely.
It's his perspective. They embrace his perspective on things.
I mean, in his perspective, all his motives, all the things that he has done have been in protection of the universe and trying to bring law and order to the universe, because that is his role as a Green Lantern.
Yeah, they I feel like there's a quote from him that sums up his entire story arc, or at least the Jeff Johns run, like the way that Johns writes him. I forget what Hal says to him, but it's something along the lines of like, I wish we were still friends, or like I remember all the good times we had when we were friends. And Sinestro's response is, "But Hal, haven't we always been friends?"
Yeah,
It's heartbreaking.
yeah, no, it's
rereading that, I was like,
yo, that whole run is so good. Go back, reread it. Great villain,
Do it.
great story.
Do
it is like space opera.
Do it.
you know, the time that they weren't friends though,
Do it.
when Hal broke his neck.
Oh.
With his bare Have we always been friends? No, I murdered you that one time. Threw your corpse off. Oh,
You hate to see it happen.
get out of here, magenta! Get out of here, magenta Hitler!
That man looks like Salvador Dali. Like, let's be honest here.
He does.
Creepy pencil John Waters mustache.
But so I'm gonna go with a slightly different angle, and this is another recent obsession of mine. I'm gonna go with the. You thought it was gonna be Sinestro. You thought it was gonna be Doctor Doom, but surprise, it's actually a JoJo's reference.
What?
I'm going with Dio Brando.
What?
Really?
Dio
Or as he's known,
Brando.
as he's known in the later seasons of JoJo, just Dio, capital DIO.
You yell it.
They do. I don't think there's a time where they don't.
I don't think
yell his
they've
name.
ever said the name Dio without it like actually just fucking emphasizing that.
Probably because they don't have to worry about Dio suing them anymore.
That's fair.
Good point.
I mean, Dio Brando is probably a lot of fun as a villain. Like in the first season of JoJo's, his motivation is kind of
He's evil for
Yeah.
evil's
He's
sake.
supremely
Literally.
evil.
yeah, he's supremely
he's the most evil.
He goes well. I mean, not just that. All right, you got to also understand his upbringing, though.
Say not just that.
You got to understand his upbringing. His dad's a piece of crap.
So you be better than
No, he
that.
is.
You don't double
no,
down.
he
tripled
doubled
down.
down. He tripled down to be better than his dad. Better at
He
being
KFC
evil.
double down,
Yeah.
right?
Better at being evil than his father was. I mean, the man was conniving. This is him as a teenager. What was he, like 13? When he's evil, fucking steals a kiss from JoJo's from the first JoJo's girlfriend. From
It wasn't
Jonathan's?
even it wasn't even just a kiss. It was her.
It was
first
her first kiss.
Steal the first kiss, burn your dog. What are you gonna do?
Oh my god!
Yeah,
he burned
after-
the
He
dog.
After
burned his
he
dog.
kicked it.
Yeah.
He burned.
It's after he kicked that dog. He kicked that dog and then murdered
Like
it.
from a perspective of someone watching, you fucking loathe this man.
Yeah, no, Dio Brando's heel work in season 1 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
you want him to get his comeuppance so bad.
I mean, and then the man becomes a vampire. Like he becomes a Dracula.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He goes.
yeah. You want him to get his comeuppance, and then he turns into a Dracula, and you're like, God damn it! Who the fuck
So
is
now
this
he's
guy?
immortal. Look, he's so evil that he comes back, murders he manages to kill Jonathan on his honeymoon when he's just a head.
Yeah.
He's just a
does
head.
do
He's
that.
literally just a head who can shoot eye beams and is still a vampire.
Yeah. Classic.
Kills Jonathan and then comes back 2 seasons later. Okay? 2
Yeah,
seasons later.
you thought I was dead?
Nope.
Surprise, it's me, Dio.
He comes back in his arch nemesis's body. Like did he eat Jonathan's head off? Like how did he switch that body on? Like how did he
Eye lasers.
Yeah.
Eye lasers and being a vampire.
Two tools. That's all you need.
Sure, okay. Fine.
Because doesn't he have like creepy I don't know if they're veins, I don't know if they're tentacles, but he's like being a vampire in the JoJo's world, you've got like ice powers, also tentacle powers.
Yeah, he's got like wild hair. Maybe you can control that, you know?
I don't listen. I don't know. Like he's got those weird squid things that he implants in people's foreheads to make them do their bidding.
Mm.
Like
Just
fucking,
like one of my
so-
Japanese animes.
It's exactly it is a Japanese
Nailed
anime.
it.
it is. It is. It is. And then to make matters worse, he gains the power to stop time.
Mm.
Like this villain,
He
just
does.
the level of power escalation for this villain just keeps coming and just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And he's just so delightfully evil too. Like the scene where he gets into the car I mean, Matt, you haven't seen the end of Star Wars
I've
Crusader.
seen it.
You've managed to see
No, I've seen
Okay.
it. I've seen it. I watched the old OVA back in the day. It's more or less the same.
I don't know if you could say that because like there are some additional scenes.
There's a few additional scenes, but there's still the scene where he forces the senator to run people
Oh
over.
yes. That is the scene that happens.
That's
in
still
both.
there.
Yeah, that's still there.
Yeah, that's still there. He doesn't do any less evil shit in the OVA.
Like I mean, in the OVA, it's fantastic, and the best part is there are people that follow him, that worship him and his teachings and his ideas, the things that he wants to do.
Are you saying
Out
that's you,
of-
Paula? Are you saying that's you?
That's not. I'm neither agreeing nor denying, but they do it because they want to. They feel that he is right. I mean, like I said, I don't know. I personally, Dio Brando is probably one of the most amusing villains in recent history that I've encountered.
He is a lot of
He
fun.
is just a lot of fun to just hate and at the same time love because he's so over the top and ridiculous.
Truly.
Like his lines are truly quotable. Like, how dare you approach me? Like, you're approaching me? Like, come on. Because to fight me? Otherwise, how are you supposed to get close enough to punch me?
No, I was gonna say I love that line. He's like, "Wait, you're approaching me, like the guy that can stop time? I'm gonna murder you." And Jotaro's response is, "Yeah, but I can't punch you from over here. Like, I have to get close. So I can beat the shit out of you."
So where's your argument that like you're like, okay, well, you're kind of right.
What do you mean? Like my argument, I'm kind of right.
We're making arguments for, like, okay, the bad guy, yeah, he had a point there.
I mean, no, there's no argument. He's right.
No
Like, there's
argument
no
there.
argument. He's just right. Like I get it. Like, I understand. Dude, this man tripled down on being worse than his father.
I told you, man. He KFC
And then he escalated. He just went through the natural form of escalation where he became a vampire and then developed powers from an alien bow and arrow. And then they ended up giving his own, but like in true evil villain fashion, he defeated himself.
Oh, there you go. So he's not totally bad.
Yeah, exactly. It's not totally bad. He defeated himself.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
He did lose via his own hubris.
Exactly. It was his own. It wasn't the fact that Jotaro fucking punched him 7 bajillion times. Like he lost
Nothing to do
body
with
parts exploding off of him as he's as they're fighting. That's fine. Like the part where was it? It was he gets thrown through a glass window. His leg falls off, and then he looks at the counter lady of the jewelry store that he just got thrown into, and he goes, "Hey, can you pass me my leg?"
It's a good
Like,
request.
it's just so over the top and ridiculous that you can't help but feel like, okay, I gotta root for this guy. Like I almost want to see him win.
Yeah, you want to see him win because you don't want him to go away.
Yeah, exactly, because you know that like you're not gonna see him again.
Oh man, so on that same wavelength, I had that same feeling watching early seasons of The Walking Dead, because that show got really dumb really quick and really boring really quick until the governor started showing up, because then you knew something good was gonna happen.
He was good in the comic too.
I forget the guy's name that plays him, but that guy does a phenomenal job. And like at that point in the show, the show's
I know
bad,
the actor you're
except for
talking
him.
about, but yeah, he's a great actor. Unfortunately, I can't redeem that show for anything. So
He played like that reptilian race in Enterprise. I can't remember their name.
reptilian.
Yeah, it was like weird. It like had like ridiculous heavy makeup. He apparently wanted to quit acting after doing that scene.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't blame him for all that makeup that he probably had to wear for that.
I mean, I want to quit acting too if I was on, part of that show Enterprise, but that's yeah. This isn't a Star Trek podcast. We're not getting into that now.
Wait, wasn't Enterprise the one with I was gonna say Kevin Sorbo. That's wrong. Scott Bakula.
Yeah, it was Scott
was on
Bakula, yeah.
Enterprise.
That's just
Oh, how dare you.
another of Quantum Leap's life. That's all that is.
That'd be so interesting if that was real.
Well, I mean, you can't convince me that Gimli wasn't part of Sliders in Lord of the Rings.
Oh shit.
I mean, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Okay, fair enough.
Can you I get the reference to both, but I'm not making the connection here.
John Rhys Davies is the same actor that played the Doctor in the hit Fox TV show Sliders.
Really?
You didn't know?
I didn't. Dude, I'm not a Lord of the Rings guy.
Dude, he had the axe.
I didn't realize that those are the same people.
Yeah, those are the same people.
Holy shit, that's awesome.
He was so dedicated to the role, to get the role in Lord of the Rings, he shrunk himself 2 feet.
I was about to say, he cut his legs off. Cut his legs off at the knees.
He became like Cotton from King of the Hill.
Oh. I don't know, Dad.
Oh no.
God, I hate
no.
that show so much.
We're not talking about that video. Oh man. Oh.
Boy, what did I tell you about that vacuum cleaner?
Paul, did you have any other picks? I don't know how the hell you're going to top Dio Brando. I love the fact too that you're not agreeing with him. He is just so damn evil. He kind of just goes full circle.
Yeah, exactly. He's delightfully evil.
He's a man with a plan. You like
Delightfully
commitment. I get it.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
And like he's got like plans on plans on plans. Like he'll throw all the stand users at you. Like it's never ending because that season dragged a little bit because of how many stand users he threw. He threw at them. So many stands. Regardless, though, it was great. It's fantastic. Like especially when he shows back up and he trolls people with his powers.
Yeah.
Like he just couldn't stop. The one guy kept trying to come up the stairs at him and he would just stop time, push him back down the stairs, and then put time back in place. Like if that's not something you can't do if you had the power to stop time, I don't know what else you would do.
Oh man.
Like just fucking troll people randomly for like, because you could stop time for 7 seconds. There's not much you could do in 7 seconds. But you absolutely could do little things to fuck with people, and like that just
you could totally untie their shoes.
or untie them and retie them, and they just fall and trip in front of you. Like that's just hysterical. And possibly break their neck.
Or carry all the mutants out of the mutant academy before it explodes.
Good example.
You could drive down to Florida and kill that bitch, that Carol fucking
You
Baskin.
Oh no! You want to? Okay, you want an example of a bad villain? Apocalypse in the X-Men movie.
I thought you were gonna say like Joe Exotic or something.
Or
Alan, what's his name?
Is Joe Exotic a villain though? I feel like that's
Jeff Lowe a villain?
That would be my pick for a really bad villain. Apocalypse in the X-Men movie. In the X-Men Apocalypse, he was just don't worry about it because
I haven't seen it.
He was so misrepresented. He was so badly done. And I hate the fact that Oscar Isaac is the person who played him because Oscar Isaac is great.
I was just about to say, isn't that Oscar Isaac?
I love that I've loved him in almost everything he's been in. Just about everything that he's done has been great.
Oscar Isaac, absolutely.
And then he did Apocalypse, and I'm just like, they put him in cosplay makeup, in a cosplay costume, gave him no central motivation that made any fucking sense, and really twisted and wasted what is one of the more interesting X-Men villains. Just wasted. Wasted. God. I cannot complain enough about some of these X-Men movies, but all right, enough of that. Matt.
Yeah. All right. What? My pick. All right. So, all right. I got 2 picks tonight. I'll start off with the less controversial of the 2. I'm going to go with the Empire from Star Wars.
Oh.
The Empire did nothing wrong.
All right.
The Empire did nothing wrong. That is like a serious internet movement. No, it's the kind of thing where, like, for years when you get the first 3 movies, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, yeah, obviously you're going to think the Empire is wrong. The funny thing is, though, is that the expanded universe, before Disney rebooted it, actually, there are good arguments that the Disney reboot of the expanding universe actually further solidified these points. But the prequels actually, I think, did the best job portraying this. Because with the prequels, you find out that the Jedi were they were kind of ineffective in a sense, because you have the entire Galactic Senate, and it's has all this representation, and you have all these corporations which actually also have representation in the Senate. And there's all these tensions gaining because the trade federations, they want to do their business, but people's rights are being trampled on. Then meanwhile, you have the Jedi sitting there mediating it, and they literally have child soldiers.
That is true.
Yeah,
I mean, all right, okay.
So you have so the Empire comes to rise, and it goes through all that bullshit. They said, nope, we're moving it this way. And they set up academies. They set up, they had programs for the arts and whatnot. I mean, if you disagree with them, yeah, you're going to have a bad time. But, if you play along and, you do your thing, they'll work with you.
I mean, I can also give you the argument that further solidifies what you're saying, is that the 3 movies, A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, are histories written by the victors.
Exactly.
So it is literally New Republic propaganda to try to make the Empire look bad.
And I mean, for God's sake, so they're siding with a bunch of cannibalistic furballs in the 3rd movie of those. So I mean,
we all fucking know that the Ewoks are fucking evil as fuck.
They're adorable. How dare you?
They are. Come on.
They're
Have you seen?
They're adorable little cannibals.
They're fucking terrifying. Have you not seen the look on their faces when they've got teeth showing? They're terrifying,
dude.
Have you not seen them? I just want to give them a big old hug. They're like real like teddy bears.
No, man, they are terrifying.
Think about how many jobs the Empire created during the construction of the second Death
It's a
Star.
lot of jobs.
I think it's been well established. They had independent contractors.
And then fucking
not
only that, but then the Rebel Alliance shows up and they just kill all these people who were still working on the obviously still under construction Death Star.
Exactly.
It's true.
All
They're all dead.
those innocent contractors. People will say like, okay, well, yeah, but they blew up Alderaan, but Alderaan was making weapons.
See,
there we
look
go.
at that.
Wow.
They weren't complicit. So, yeah.
Makes you think.
And here's where it gets even crazier:
What?
the Yuzon Vong invasion.
What?
I don't know what that is.
Basically Star Wars version of Klingons before the Klingons joined the Federation.
Okay.
Super crazy warring race. They come from outside of the galaxy. They come in and they wage this war, and a lot of major characters in Star Wars, that's how they wind up dying in the old EU. Apparently, it gets revealed at some point that Palpatine had foresaw the Yuuzhan Vong invasion because apparently it had happened once before, and that's why he wanted to beef up the military and stuff like that, was to prepare for an
He's
invasion.
just trying to protect everyone.
So you have somebody that's sitting there that, okay, yeah, he's a Sith. Okay, yeah, sure, we know that. But, he wants the absolute power, but he's going to beef it up against the Vong invasion. So, he's doing it to protect you. Despite what the rebel propagandists were saying.
Like I know I was agreeing with you in a bunch of stuff, but like I do feel you have a bunch of valid merits when it comes to your arguments against the Jedi, and I no more of like no bigger example of that exists than the actual Clone Wars cartoon.
Oh yeah,
the Clone War, Well,
you
Wars
got deeper
cartoon.
into that than I
Oh, dude, that I am so into that right now, to the point that I'm actually they just started not they just started, but a couple of weeks ago, they started premiering the last season that they're doing, just to kind of bridge the gap between everything that happened from the end of that Clone Wars series, literally 2 minutes before the beginning of episode 3.
Oh,
That's really cool.
So to the point where they actually you see the last interactions before of what Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan do before they go off to fight Grievous at the beginning of Revenge of the Sith.
Right.
So like they're actually bridging that completely, to the point where one of the main characters, one of the Jedi herself, Ahsoka Tano, shows the fact that she believes that the Jedi have completely lost their way on what they represented to the people. And you get to see how the actual people have lost faith in what the Jedi Order stood for. They're just myths. They literally sit there with dealing with politicians, grandstanding in front of the Senate. They're no longer the servants of peace in the Republic that they used to be.
Oh yeah, and then you play stuff like Knights of the Old Republic, and you realize, like, yeah, an Old Republic Jedi would totally wreck, a then Republic Jedi Knight.
Oh, absolutely, because they stopped teaching the Jedi about the difference between the light and the dark side, and only taught them the dark side and to fear the dark side.
Right.
The very teachings of the Jedi Order became very much just hide the history of what is part of supposed to be bringing balance to the Force. I don't know. I could go into this for hours.
Yeah,
so
we could do a whole other episode, but yeah. But yeah.
I'm sorry. I know we were going way into the weeds.
It's fine.
Don't apologize. I like it.
I'm just saying, I don't know of anything in the expanding universe or the movies where the Empire kills innocent contractors. I end my argument there. Thank you, folks. Welcome to my TED Talk. All right. My second pick, bit of an unusual one, I think. Clubber Lang.
Clubber Lang?
Clubber Lang.
All right, I'm in. What's going on here?
Okay. All right.
First, you should probably tell us who Clubber Lang is. I know who he is,
Like,
but I don't know if our audience knows who he is. Do you know there's people out there who don't know who Clubber Lang is?
That's true.
Yeah, no. Mr. T's character in Rocky 3.
I'm with it. Please
Yeah,
continue. Tell me how you agree with him.
Okay. So what's the plot of Rocky 1? The plot of Rocky 1 is Rocky Balboa is an aging boxer. He's a nobody, and he gets a chance to fight the champion, in a heavyweight fight. Because of the bicentennial and whatnot at the time. Apollo Creed is supposed to wipe the floor with Rocky, but he winds up going the distance. But Rocky winds up losing. Rocky 2, the point of it is that they have the rematch, and because Rocky was able to beat the Get Up before Apollo Creed, he wins. And he gets the title. And in the time between Rocky 2 and Rocky 3, Rocky got soft.
Oh, absolutely. You see that in the movie too.
He got soft, and the whole time, and then Clubber Lang comes up and he challenges Rocky, and that great scene where they're dedicating the statue, and then just Clubber Lang does some great heel work. and just said, "You ain't a chump. You ain't a champ. You a chump." And then he does that line against Adrian. He goes, "Hey, come over here. Hang out with a real man." You know, that line, that bit. And then and then the whole time Rocky's like, "Yeah, I'll fight you. And then Mick's like, "No, he'll kill you." And then he finds out like the only reason you've been winning all this time is because you've been fighting has-beens. And then Rocky still agrees to the fight, much to the disagreement of Mickey. And then the whole time Rocky's fighting, he rents out a gym where everyone can see him in Center City.
Oh, yeah, that training is just so douchey.
And he's signing autographs and stuff like that. And what is Clubber Lang doing the whole time? He's sitting there in some dingy ass basement doing sit-ups, and he's running around. He's hungry for the title like Rocky was in Rocky 1. So what happens in Rocky 3? He beats the shit out of Rock. So bad he killed Mick.
He killed his trainer by proxy.
I forgot about that.
He beat him so hard that his trainer felt it and died from it.
I mean,
he beat him so bad his grandpa felt it.
Grandpa, no.
I don't want to. Okay, all right, I totally am with you up until the point where you're just like, yeah, he beat him so bad his trainer died. Mick died because that motherfucker was old. Like
no.
Mick was ancient.
When does Mick fall? When does Mick start to fall down in Rocky 3? He starts to fall down after Rocky starts getting his brains knocked in.
Is that when he starts? Damn, I haven't watched Rocky 3 in a long time.
Because they take Mickey to the locker room, and then you find out that he died after Rocky like shows up more dead than alive.
Oh, that's right. And then there's the whole scene where Mick is already dead and Rocky is just fucking all bloodied up, crying on top of him.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, okay.
You're probably confusing it in the 4 scenes prior when Mick is like having a heart palpitation or something. When Thunder Lips, played by Hulk Hogan, is breaking a chair over no Paulie broke the chair over Hulk Hogan, and then
arguably another great villain, if you ask me. Thunder Lips,
the ultimate male versus the ultimate meatball. Yes.
You could argue that that's one of the first ever. It's I can't say one of the first ever, but it's a proto MMA fight.
There we go.
I guess so.
Rocky 3 ahead of the curve.
Ultimately, the argument though is that it took Clubber Lang to get Rocky straight, so that eventually Rocky comes up with rope-a-dope and then beats Clubber Lang. And if it wasn't for Clubber Lang setting Rocky straight, Rocky would never have been able to avenge Apollo Creed by beating Ivan Drago in Rocky 4.
Holy shit!
God damn!
You need those
That's
foils.
Deep, yeah.
You need those foils.
The Rocky universe just got way deeper.
I mean, if you want to go deeper,
Go on.
Yeah, I do.
Apollo Creed's illegitimate kid in Creed 2 fights Ivan Drago's kid.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a whole fucking thing because Ivan Drago's kid just fucking destroys him. Just wrecks the shit out of him. And then he's got to go through his whole he's got to go his whole through redemption arc, got to get Rocky to train him so that he could go back and beat him. And you know who's in Ivan Drago's son's corner? Ivan Drago.
Mr. Drago himself.
The
ghost of
Mr. Drago himself, exactly, yeah.
No. But here's where it gets crazy though, because how does Rocky 3 end?
I'm hauling your rock.
Gets even crazy go, because how does Rocky 3 end? Rocky 3 ends with Apollo Creed and Rocky having a sparring session.
Ding ding.
Ding ding, and then and then the movie ends. But you don't find out till Creed 1 that Apollo won the third fight.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
You don't find that out until Creed 1.
So Rocky seeing Apollo get the shit beat out of him after having that great performance by the great late James Brown, that's when Rocky's like, "Oh shit, I barely got through Clubber, and I just lost to Apollo, and this guy literally killed him."
With
punches.
That
makes Rocky 4 all that more deep.
Rocky 4.
So it has nothing to do with the reunification of the Soviet Union and the fall of communism thanks to Rocky beating Ivan.
If I can change, we can change.
While Ronald Reagan was like telling Gorbachev to knock down walls, Rocky was knocking down a wall of a man. Ronald Reagan didn't do shit
can't.
to end the Soviet Union.
Can't.
It was all right.
You know who did though? David Hasselhoff.
You don't hassle the Hoff.
No, you
That's
didn't.
rule number
never.
one.
But back to Hulk Hogan. I mean, you had David Hasselhoff doing Baywatch, and later on Hulk Hogan
Oh my
went to
God!
do
Yes, Thunder in
the Bay,
Paradise.
which was like Thunder in Paradise, which was like or a dollar store ripoff of Baywatch. I guess.
No, it was a dollar store ripoff of Baywatch and Knight Rider because remember he had
Yeah.
the boat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he had like a tactical team, and the guys on his team were Steve Borden, aka Sting, and Mark Calloway, aka
The Undertaker.
No, I didn't realize the Undertaker was in that.
I believe so. I could be wrong. I could be misremembering.
Stop! I didn't realize that was Sting either.
Gonna do a quick. Gonna do a hot Google
Google.
right here.
By my Hasselhoff powers combined,
Google.
I give you Hulk Hogan and shitty acting in a horribly CGI'd boat that lasted for like 3 episodes on.
No, dude, that had like
UPN.
2 seasons.
It did?
Thunder in Paradise had more than 3 episodes. Thunder in Paradise lasted. I remember because that was my guilty pleasure to watch.
Oh man.
Randolph J. Hurricane Spencer, played by Hulk
Hulk
Hogan.
Hogan.
Oh no, it had 22 episodes, but 1 season.
I swear it didn't air at all.
22. No, man, 22 episodes. So Chris Lemon.
It had a straight to video
Oh
movie.
hell
it?
yeah! We gotta watch that.
Jimmy Hart was in it a
Am
few
I
times.
making this up that Sting and Taker were in this? Hold
I
on.
think you
I
were
don't-
because I don't see any of the people who I see here are not wrestlers.
Fan casting.
I was about to say, why would you cast wrestlers next to a wrestler that already can't act in front of a camera?
It's true.
Got to keep it in the family. This wrestling family.
Okay, so I don't think he was in this normally, but it looks like he was in at least an episode.
Okay, that's fair. See, I feel like all of those shows, like Knight Rider, Thunder in Paradise, Baywatch, I feel like all of those exist in the same universe.
They should.
They should, though.
I mean, if anything else, I like to imagine all the Hulk Hogan movies being in the same universe, especially the fourth Three Ninjas movie.
Well, no, that was where. Okay, hold on. That was where you're thinking the Undertaker was in. He was one of the evil characters, one of the villains in. What was it called? All I remember was Suburban Commando.
Suburban Commando.
Yeah,
Suburban Commando. Christopher Lloyd. Yeah. I was frozen today.
Very good.
All right, we're done.
I mean,
Done.
I think the real question though is, are you a Tum Tum, Rocky, or Cult?
Oh my god, that
What?
picture. All right.
I found the episode of Thunder in Paradise that Sting is in,
Oh,
and I'm
Jesus
currently
Christ.
I'm currently sending images to everyone else. We can, who's ever editing this episode, we can we can just leave the images in the description here.
One of these days when I get around to updating the website.
We'll finally learn to annotate.
Yes.
We can't. After that, I don't think we could top
Yeah,
any of that.
no.
No, we're done.
Too beautiful.
You know what? I think I got you. Honorable mention, anime filler.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's the-
That is the
That's
true
the true
villain.
villain.
Pretty
That is a
good.
true villain. Yeah. Well, we don't give you filler here, folks. So on that
That's true.
note,
No.
we'll call it a night.
Have a great night. Dude, stay safe and have a good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. Wash your hands.
Next episode, we'll be podcasting from Namek.
We're never gonna get off this planet.
All of the music that you have heard is the song Dance Rocket off the album Descent of the Goober Monster by Jesse Spillane. It is licensed under Attribution 4.0 International CC by 4.0 license off freemusicarchive.org. If you have a question, a topic you would like us to cover, or simply wish to tell us all of the facts that we have screwed up, feel free to email us at laymansguidetothemultiverse@gmail.com. Also, feel free to visit us at our website at laymansguidetothemultiverse.com.